July 1979. A mysterious visitor who looks rich. Arrive in Alberton, Georgia, USA. Heading to the Alberton Granite Guild. Meets Mr. Joe H. Findley, the guild director. He introduces himself as Robert C. Christian. He asked him to build a granite monument and carve some phrases on its boards. On a plot of land he purchased in Alberton County of the U.S. state of Georgia. The guild manager was amazed at the request. The intended land is originally a cattle farm. The Cherokee Indians call it the center of the earth. Findley was even more worried when Christian told him that this was a pseudonym and not his real name, and that his true identity must be kept a secret. He tried to evade the deal by asking for a large sum in exchange for the implementation of the project. But Christian did not care about the amount and agreed to it immediately. And it was agreed. Work began on carving and erecting panels. Christian was often present to supervise the work himself. Due to the nature of the site and its being a largely secluded area, eyes have been kept away from the monument throughout its construction. After the work is done, Congressman Doug Bernard unveiled the monument on August 22, 1890. Thus came into existence the Monument of the Georgian Signboards, or as some called it, Devil's Boards. Why did they call it this? Why did people hate it and worry about them? We will know this when we start our exploration tour of this mysterious granite monument. The monument is located approximately 1 kilometer east of Atlanta, 140 kilometers from Athens, Georgia, approximately 14 kilometers north of downtown Alberton, at an altitude of about 230 meters above sea level. It consists of a central low in the middle surrounded by 4 panels. Each 2 panels are opposite each other on a straight line, giving the shape of the letter X. The panels are carved in the form of huge tombstones. Each board is 5 meters and 87 centimeters high and weighs about 20 tons. There is also a flat panel near the monument on which the specifications of the monument, the purpose of its creation, and the language is written on it. It indicates the presence of a time capsule buried under the monument, but did not specify the date of its opening. And on top of the 5 tablets, the 4 indicative and center plate, there is a square-shaped crowning stone set by astronomical calculations. The instructions are engraved on the 4 vertical panels in 8 living languages: Arabic, Hebrew, Swahili, Hindi, Spanish, Chinese, Russian, and English. Every language is on one side of every tablet. The coronation stone was inscribed in the languages of the ancient world: Egyptian hieroglyphics, Babylonian cuneiform, ancient Sanskrit, and ancient Greek. There are 10 commandments or instructions on the tablets. Keep the human race, less than 500 million people, in permanent balance with nature. Steer human reproduction with improved fitness and versatility. Unite the human race with a new contemporary language. Control passion, belief, tradition, and all things with moderate logic. Protect people and nations with just laws and fair courts. Let states rule internally while settling external disputes in the world court. Avoid petty laws and useless employees. Balance personal rights and social duties. Encourage truth, beauty, love, to find absolute balance. Don't be a cancer on earth, make room for nature. Make room for nature. Well, that sounds like good words and advices. So, what's the problem? Slow down. It does not sound good to some people. But let's first review the rest of the description of the monument. The design is made so that the 4 guide plates are oriented to determine a lunar declination angle of 18.5 degrees. It is the most accurate degree in determining the time of the beginning of the day. In the middle column there are 2 carved holes. The first passes from one side to the other, through which the North Star can be seen. The second corresponds to the phenomenon of the solstice, which is responsible for the succession of the seasons. In the upper stone, a hole is 22 millimeters in diameter. The sun's rays fall from it at noon every day, in a position in the middle column that determines the date of the day of the year. So these stones are not just a memorial or a guide. They have another job besides counseling. It provides us with knowledge of time and place by setting the date and the direction of the north. But what is the use of that? We have more advanced tools to know the time and place. This takes us back to the billboard next to the monument, where there is a phrase that says, "Let this text serve as guidelines for the age of mind." Many researchers have linked this to the book The Age of Mind by Thomas Paine, accused of Freemasonry. Although his book The Age of Reason is devoid of any Masonic thought. But the thing that reinforced the Masonic theory of the panels is the instructions it came with. The issue of uniting the world under the rule of one king and one language is one of the Masonic ideas. Also, the term cancer in the 10th guide was interpreted as a call for ethnic cleansing and the disposal of useless human beings. Another group of researchers tended to link the panel's guides to the Malthusian theory founded by Reverend Thomas Robert Malthus, the content of which is that the Earth's resources grow according to an arithmetic progression as follows: 2, 4, 6, 8, while the population of the Earth increases according to a geometric sequence as follows: 2, 4, 8, 16. This will inevitably lead to a food disaster in the world in the medium term. By branching off from this theory, a group of researchers sees that the world is managed by a hidden world council that no one knows about, and that this council is aware of this awaited food disaster, and that all that is happening in the world of wars, conflicts, and the spread of deadly epidemics are means used by this council deliberately to reduce the number of the human race, or slow down its growth. And that George's guiding stones predict the occurrence of a major catastrophe, such as a nuclear war, for example, that will cause the death of most of the population of the Earth, and that the number of survivors of that disaster will be less than 500 million people. So, these instructions are addressed to these survivors, in what the guides call the Age of Mind, the era after human madness destroys their land. And because this destruction will erase all aspects of civilization and technology from the Earth, they left the 2 tools that would enable them to build a new civilization: compass, and calendar to be able to determine the time and place. Regardless of how right and wrong all these theories may be, it has resulted in people hating and worrying about this monument. So, there were numerous hostile and sabotage acts against it. On June 6, 2022 at 4 in the morning, an unknown person blew up the monument and ran away with his car, and the authorities were unable to identify and arrest him. The explosion resulted in the destruction of one of the monument panels and damage to the rest of the panels. Then, for reasons said to be related to public safety, the authorities demolished the rest of the monument and flattened it, digging under the monument to extract the time capsule. There was nothing. And thus ended the story of the most controversial contemporary landmarks. But has the concern raised by them also ended?